Hello and welcome to Gin with Gwyn. I'm Oliver Gwyn. This week, my sister was down for an operation on her vocal cords, and so she stayed at my place overnight. I took her to the hospital, I took her in to the appointment, and I'm there waiting for her when she's waiting to go into the operation, and she's phoning my mom and her partner and other people. And the context of that call is that obviously, if something goes wrong, that potentially she would not be able to speak again. And so, quite possibly, however small the chance is, that might be the last time and the last message that she can actually deliver with her own voice. It's a very powerful thing. And it made me think a lot about relationships this week. I was thinking about how there's probably a few thousand people, maybe, who my sister will post to online, who might interact with that and like the story and know what's going on and all that kind of stuff, and many of those people maybe she's never even met before. And there's maybe hundreds of people who she needed to tell and inform for work or for social obligations because after the operation she's not going to be able to speak. But when you come down to it and you have 15 minutes to call a few select people, it's still your friends, your family, and your loved ones that you know will pick up the phone and be there for you, even today, in which we live in a world that is increasingly joined up and we're able to more easily hop across the world and meet new people, and all cultures are changing, and yet when everything comes down to it, it's still those same small selects of people who you want in the room or you want to talk. So I was interested to have a look at some statistics about friendships and whether technology was really changing it, because my feeling in that moment was it probably isn't. Surveys show that approximately 53% of adults have 1 to 4 close friends. 38% have 5 or more, and about 8% say that they have no close friends today. And in fact, research in the US shows that there's been a decline in the number of people reporting large friendship groups. In the US, those with 10 or more close friends dropped by 33% from 1990 to 13% today. That's one fifth of people in the survey in America that said they had a friendship group of more than 10 close people. As of 2025, over 5.24 billion people worldwide are on social media, meaning that 64% of the global population uses these platforms to connect and communicate. And on average, they spend 2 hours and 21 minutes a day. And so you look at those stats and you think, well, clearly social media means we're not as close as we used to be. We're making less friends. We have less close relationships. There's anthropological research that shows, I think it's called Dunbar's number, that you can only maintain around 150 people relationships, which includes casual acquaintances as well as close friends and family. That's like the max that you can do as a person. And that doesn't look like it's changed with social media. But I think what's happened is that we used to have more time to maintain these relationships. And so it was more likely that we had 10 friends because our only way of communicating with them was over the phone. We had to spend quality time, had to be very intentional if we wanted to spend time with these people. And now we have so many different ways of interacting with them. We have so many more people in our life. We have so much more distraction than ever before. And so I don't think it's a case that we have less friends or we are getting lonelier as a society. I think it's just that the time that we used to spend on those friendships is being spent elsewhere. I think it's more likely that people are moving around a lot more than they used to. And so it's not a case that we make friends when we're young, and those are the friends that we have for life, and we grow old with those friends in many ways, shapes, or form. I think it's more likely that you move cities and you make new friends, and then they move cities, and all that kind of things. And of course, this is only going to be diluted more because we're going to start making friends with AI, and we're going to have AI girlfriends and AI friends and all of that kind of stuff. I think Sherry Turkle said digital connections and social robots offer the illusion of companionships without the demands of friendship. And I think the demands is really important because all relationships are reciprocal to some degree. Everything requires maintenance and effort. And in a world where we are more and more distracted than ever before, and we can do more things than ever before, we can make apps and we can make music at the touch of the button, we can write anything through AI. It becomes harder and harder to maintain those things. And so our friendships, maybe they are getting rarer, but they're also getting more special at the same time. I saw another stat which is more or less than 25% of people have an emergency contact today, and they're more likely to phone an ambulance before they phone close friends and family to help them if they have an emergency, which, to be fair, if it's an emergency, I would do that as well. And it kind of highlights that people don't pre-think about support networks for critical moments like when you're in the hospital, when you're suddenly ill, all of those kind of things. And I'm not sure I have necessarily a conclusion on my thoughts this week, other than to say that think about who you would phone if you were in the hospital and you might not talk ever again. Who would you want to phone and tell them that you love them? And make sure that those people are in your life and you're spending time with them and you're doing the work to make sure that they know that you are special to them and them to you. Because maybe a surgeon sneezes and you won't get that opportunity. We could all be struck by lightning tomorrow, really. So maybe a bit of a grim thought for me this week, but that experience really re-emphasized to me that relationships are very important. We don't get many people in our lives that are close to us. We can choose to put the effort into those relationships. And at the end of the day, at some point, we will all be alone in a hospital bed. And wouldn't it be nice to have somebody that we can call for support? Thanks very much for watching. Tune in next week for another Gin with Gwen.